because the first ban from Elements is Alistar. And they do this because either Origen then bans the Sivir, which is the standard you will do if you don't want to give away that as a first pick. And then Elements can just go for the Corki, and then they have this wave clear component. They have some mid-game, which is what they've been aiming for. We keep talking about Elements and often refer to like late-game scaling, but the last few weeks they've gone more towards these Trinity Force power spikes on Tabzz, on Jwaow, so it's more mid-game focused. And they're setting up for it again because now Sivir is banned. And then most teams consider Corki to be the best AD carry choice. Question is, will Elements first pick it? Now that the banned are Gragas, they might set up for Rek'Sai first pick as well. So there are different options for Elements here.
Rek'Sai or Corki, that's what we're looking for Elements. On the side of Origen, we see Master Yi targeted towards Elements. I think that's the second time this week that Elements have had that.
Yeah, Froggen was apparently spamming it in solo queue. Like a lot.
We've seen Faker doing it.
Yeah.
Leading or following, we'll have to see. Either way, it's not available. You can see Mithy much more focused than Nyph as far as player cams are concerned. Final ban being Rise. So Rek'Sai is up if you want to take that top tier jungler for Dexter. And she, the queen of the Xerxai, has been locked in.
Yeah, and just fairly smart bans then in the way Elements decide to ban with the Kalista first and then kind of forcing Origen to ban that Sivir because teams have now realized you don't really want to give it away too often. It's just so powerful. These two AD carries really stand out above the rest in the league. But we also talked about the Corki as the other option, and of course Origen will then lock it in instantly. One of the teams on the analyst desk, Niels, last week talking about how in scrims they've been, you know, trying to play without Sivir, without Kalista, because you have to be able to have other AD carries ready, and therefore Corki, for a lot of the teams, comes in as the next one.
So let's see whether or not Origen can actually make use of their timing windows and whether they can take advantage of their Triforce spikes, because yesterday both Origen and Elements didn't seem to be on the same page. Nyph was a little disconnected from Tabzz. Elements were not really in sync, and they had their Ekko jungle. We see them out of page, and then similar with Origen, those Desperation Baron players that Crepo's highlighted. We need to see which team can focus their resolve in their playstyles.
Yeah, when you play against these poke compositions, and if you don't run straight up hard engage, you need good coordination to make it work, and we simply didn't see that from the teams. Often Elements would like have one guy jump in, then the next guy would follow after, or he would like miss his stunner, and everything fell apart. Froggen never got to do too much on his Vladimir he had in the team fights, even though he had a good game. But yeah, Elements, Alistar of course left open because Origen said we need Ekko as well. It's a flex pick for them. Top and jungle is the expected roles. And then funny enough with xPeke and Froggen here, they somewhat share the same champion pool. Vladimir, Azir, they're in there. We might see a Vladimir pick coming in from Froggen, just saying, I challenge you to pick the Azir, because I'm going to beat you then later on in the game, even though Azir, of course, has fantastic scaling as well. But it's what he did last time these two teams faced each other.
And of course, for Origen, xPeke had the option to run poke. Varus was up. Jace has made it all the way through untouched thus far, which has really been one of the power picks on 5-12.
Yeah. And with this Rumble pick here, and of course the Corki AD carry, I think Origen really is setting up for either Jace or Varus in the mid lane. You want that physical, long-range poke, and that's also why Rumble is such a good pick, why we've seen Rise often in top lane, Ekko top lane as well, because you need some magic damage. Cannot go too heavy into the physical one. It tends to go fairly wrong in the late game when teams are stacking armor against you. So Origen really setting up for Jace Varus. I would assume Jace if it's left open as the last pick for xPeke.
So a couple of picks left for Elements to go with. Jwaow will get his hands on that Gnar. I'm hoping he's going to build a little bit more DPS focus, much like we see Odoamne doing, tending to favor that Black Cleaver and going a little more aggressive. Can go full tank if he needs to or wants to. Couple seconds left for Elements. What will they prioritize as their last two? It looks like Cog and Vlad for the moment.
Elements needs to be careful. They don't run with too little engage. Again, for them, it's a bit like yesterday. You have Rek'Sai and Gnar, two champions that prefer to be like the second engage coming in. So only Alistar is going to be the one where you pop that Righteous Glory and you might be able to like flash combo someone, and that's how you can start. Then follow it up with the Mega Gnar, follow up with Rek'Sai knock up, and that can work. But Origen have a very good combo in terms of kiting back. You got long range on the Corki. We are expecting Jace Varus as the pick in the mid lane as well for xPeke. And then you have this disengage of like Rumble Thresh together. So I feel like Origen have a good setup to run a poke comp where it's going to rely on coordination, which is what Elements have been lacking, for them to start proper fights. Because otherwise, Froggen is going to stand too far back and he never gets in range. Origen, it's different taste, but it's again, it's kite. It's, hey, you're never going to get in range with your Vladimir to deal all this massive AoE damage, and therefore we try and shut you down that way.
I don't know about this one. We'll see if it works out for Origen, but either way, both teams settling down on a team composition that wants to go for those team comps.
Varus too.
And as we were expecting, it will be that AD poke. Now, when Pekka ran Varus last time, it was against the Copenhagen Wolves, and he dealt more damage than the entire Wolves team combined. This was last week, of course, and it was the first time we saw Pekka on the champion. And we'll keep an eye on those piercing arrows and how accurate he can be. The one thing it does signal for Elements is that's going to buy time for this Vladimir to farm up, to get himself some items. Fairly even-ish lane.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's going to be a bit of a farm lane in the start, but of course, around these 15-20 minutes is where Origen is going to spike super hard, and it's what they like to play around. This is much more an Origen composition compared to the one we saw yesterday. Fantastic mid-game for them. It's always where they get this massive goal lead. I mean, their team, first 10 minutes, they're like 200-300 goal ahead on average. And then coming towards the 20-minute mark, we talk like 2K goal leads suddenly for them. Like, they explode in that way. So, running Varus, Corki, fantastic mid-game, Rumble, of course, as well. So, Elements will not be allowed, if Origen plays is correct, to scale to 30 minutes, 35 minutes. And even if they do, we need to see proper coordination in the way they engage through the Gnar, the Alistar, and the Rek'Sai to enable Froggen to deal damage. Otherwise, it's going to be the same as yesterday.
Coordination.
Coordination, coordination, coordination.
It's not worked out. When we've seen Elements playing, we were talking about the Ekko in particular, because when Froggen was running Ekko a couple of weeks back, and we saw Promiscu, if memory serves, on the Bard, it didn't work out. Yesterday, when Dexter was running Ekko, that too did not work out. So there are your team compositions, ladies and gentlemen. Jump on Twitter for the second last time here in Europe in Week 6. Hashtag ELWin or hashtag OGWin. We want to know who you think will be picking up the victory. Pekka's got a little bit of numbers on his side. Varus has a 6-win, 2-loss ratio here in Europe. Pretty good odds. One of those wins was with Pekka himself.
I want to talk a little bit about this bot lane. Tabzz and Nyph, of course, reunited. The lane that won their summer split, Season 4, went to Worlds, then kaboom happened. Now we're here. But
that's a very abridged history.
That's how it goes, man. That's the story. This lane for them, early on, they're gonna just try and turn it into a complete farm lane. Like, they don't want anything to happen. Honestly, it's 2 AD carries who really wants to hit level 6 before they become really powerful. But Tabzz can honestly out-trade a Corki after level 6. You want the few AD carries who can do it. Obviously, depends on the first back. But I want to see how he plays it, and if that is the main reason for him picking it. Obviously, again, it's super late game, so Elements have gone slightly away from the mid game, the Trinity Force spikes we have seen on 2 carries, both Jwaow and Tabzz, and now we're way more late game focused, at least with the 2 carries.
Could still go Triforce on that Kog'Maw. Could still
of course you are. Yeah.
On Gnar.
So,
and of course, the last time these teams met, hang on, because this abridged history you gave last time didn't include the most recent matchup, which Origen did, of course, win relatively handily. Pretty convincing team fights. Look at that aspect of the dragon. I actually think it was the first time it was picked up as well, if memory serves.
And I guess, I mean, of course, as you said, Tabzz is going Trinity Force. It's just not the same power when he hits that item as a Corki. You know, you don't have to necessarily group in that mid game and really use it, because you have that fantastic late game scaling, which is what he's aiming for. Typically, you want more than just one item for Tabzz on a hyper carry.
The longer the game goes, the happier Corki will be. Kog'Maw. Damn it.
Yeah, see?
You just messed me all up. Right, let's reset ourselves. No lane swap, no shenanigans. We did catch a glimpse of Niels and Mithy doing Gromp. Tabzz and Nyph hit the Krugs. We'll see who's going to race to level 2. Nyph with the Relic Shield. And we do catch a glimpse in the middle lane as Froggen is transfusing the Heart Seeker Varus of Pekka.
I need to see Nyph sell this Relic Shield later on. He has to go for Talisman. We need Elements to have ways of starting fights. Rek'Sai is normally not building a Righteous Glory. Gnar is not building a Righteous Glory, so it has to come from Nyph in terms of doing abilities. So unless he's going like Face of the Mountain, Righteous Glory, but that's fairly expensive build for support, and that relies then Elements to get towers down to get global gold for him. So not sure I'm going to like that. We're going to have to see if Nyph sells it later. That's what I'm going to expect from him. But yeah, we talked about it. The 2v2 lane is going to be super farm fest in the start from Element side. They want to hit level 6, and then we might start seeing them trade a little bit. but you're against a double range comp, so you're not going to do a whole lot in the start.
And you can see that Tabzz and Nyph have been pushed in. Peke is shoving into this mid lane as well. Froggen's going to have some fighting to do. And of course, Froggen versus xPeke, this used to be one of the headline matchups. Peke going to get zoned away by Dexter. Ghost has already been used. So Summoner Spell advantage, actually traded Froggen and Peke, using their respective abilities.
Dexter didn't want to flash and trade it with Peke. That's normally worth it against an immobile mid laner. If your jungler trades flash, low mobility, that's very true. Because he can walk, after all.
He's not a turret, though many people think Varus is off. Just standing there spamming away with that piercing arrow. We did see Peke start to flask and pots, so going to be trying to hold out and spamming those piercing arrows as quickly as possible. Tabzz eats a death sentence. Niels will just land an auto attack before peeling backwards.
Yeah, well, we didn't get to see too much of the level 1 trading between these two bottom lanes here, but very clearly Origen, of course, again, as we mentioned, with the double range, have been winning the war, got early level 2, zoned away Tabzz and Nyph. Big difference already at the 10 CS, but you're still just waiting at least for level 6 and then further on. More than just the Trinity Force as well, compared to the Corki.
Well, a little bit of that CS is made up in the top lane, as Jwaow is pushing Soaz into the tower, trying to use that mini Gnar harass to the best of his ability. Soaz will be doing just fine. We've seen Rumble shut down really hard in the summer split. Soaz uncontested thus far.
Yeah, Gnar is normally a good matchup into Gnar because you can, sorry, into Rumble, not into Gnar. Because Jwaow, what he can do is he's just gonna go for an early Hexdrinker, and then it's gonna be very tough for Soaz to trade properly with him. And then what we have seen, at least, Hexdrinker is full tank on that Gnar, but now we see Black Cleavers, we see Frozen Mallets and so on. So Jwaow likes to often go a bit more DPS, Hexdrinker, Black Cleaver potentially for him, and just be a bit of a split pushing threat.
I'd like to see that because, in my opinion, the strongest Gnar is Oda 1 is. We do see a flash from Peke. Dexter does not follow once again. Rinse and repeat.
Except that the first time he didn't get the flash blown from Peke, so this time he had the flash to get away. Still, that's fine for Dexter if he can then return to this mid lane and get a kill on Peke here. If you need Froggen to get rolling, because he's going to be such a massive force in the late game against double AD carries who's going to have so few defensive stats, Froggen is going to eat them if he gets in there.
That's going to be the trick. Not a lot of initiation. Tabzz is going to eat a death sentence. Double flay. Tabzz responds with a defensive flash. The Lantern is going to pull Niels forward, looking for first blood. Valkyrie defensively. Teleports coming down from Soaz as first blood is secured. The dead butterfly does not blow up the earth. And teleports cancelled from both top laners. OG, Sokolf, your place.
Both Mithy and Tabzz, you know, they know each other really well. Back in Season 3. Used to play together on Lemon Dogs and was such a good 2v2 lane. Mithy didn't join the first one.
So there's no flash here for Peke. Dexter and Froggen at least pushing back. It looks like the minion wave is pushing towards xPeke, so he should have some additional safety. Trading very well with Froggen. Both of these top laners without teleport have also returned to lane. Makings of that Hexdrinker that you were talking about, Deficio. And an early Seeker's Arm Guard for Soaz's Rumble.
No surprises in the top lane. Still, the fact that Elements have been giving up a kill down in that bottom lane is a big problem. Let's see what else is on the map. Dexter's trying this mid lane again and again and again. We haven't seen anything from Amazing yet. Just been farming, but once again, I mean, Dexter, return to the mid lane. You forced that flash. You have your own still. That should be such an easy kill for Elements.
Should be, but has not become one. And Origen have got themselves roughly 1,000 gold lead. We can see Niels with that Sheen, Boots, and Ruby Crystal equaled with Tabz's Sheen. But as you pointed out many times, Deficio,
yeah,
Tabz's Kog'Maw is looking for more than just Triforce. Triforce, Blade.
It's a good start, though.
Let's see who can pick that up. Where are we looking in terms of Dragon for these respective teams? Obviously, the Rumble's always going to give you an advantage. especially if Niels and Mithy can keep pressing home their advantage in the 2v2.
Very true. I mean, it's kind of funny because poke comps, they like to take dragons early on because of the fact that the stats are great for them, but also they like to get ganked in the mid lane.
Well, Peke is going to throw out that chain of corruption. It did actually connect, and Dexter ate so many tower shots. Reply kill for Froggen. Looked a little scary, but he got the kill.
Yeah, Dexter needed more than the 2 steps. There was like the first gank, nothing happened. Second gank, you got the flash. Third gank, nothing. Fourth gank, we finally get the kill onto Peke. We talked about it so often. He goes down. Poor Tabzz. He's left alone in this bottom lane here. But yeah, the dragons, it's going to be important for Elements to use dragons to force fights, because that's what you can do against these poke comps here. If you force them to move down into the river, you get multiple ways to engage, especially with a Gnar. Amazing, he's taking quite some damage.
He's been knocked out. The Lantern for defense, and Niels was hammering away on the tower. Froggen may be catching Amazing out. Preyseeker's going to connect, and Froggen's going to transfuse. Time Winder will apply the slow, and we see that's a flash engage there from Nyph, and Amazing will be able to just phase dive away, I think that was. And at the end of it, Amazing gets out clean. A little bit of a wasted engage on Nyph's flash.
That's safe to say. He was roaming to mid before as well, so they've really been sacrificing Tabzz quite a bit here in the early game. Dexter putting all his focus on the mid lane. Nyph also roamed in himself. Mithy trying to predict the Jew. Didn't happen for him, and now let's start trading. Now here we get to level 6 on both AD carries, so let's start following the trades. If Tabzz uses his full rotation, gets of course that Sheen proc off, it can be tough for Niels then to just standard trade unless he has the big rocket ready.
There's no flash for Nyph, so this initiation is going to be a little more difficult. And Deficio, I'm going to go back to picks and bans where we were mentioning Tabzz. In recent games has been one of the wave clear players. Less so on this Kog'Maw. Up top, no Hex Drinker yet for Jwaow. Takes a very heavy trade. Equalizer is available for Soaz if he wants to all in.
And I think overall, for Origen, just being even 10 minutes in is more than fine. Because again, they're waiting for that 15 to 20 minute spike. As you just highlighted yourself, Tabzz normally is one of the main wave clears. This case here, there's no instant wave clear from him. Froggen has to stand in the middle of the lanes. No instant wave clear. Same for Jwaow. So Elements doesn't have a safe way and a fast way of stopping Origen once they start grouping with Varus and Corki. So as long as Origen doesn't do anything stupid for the next 5-6 minutes, gets a Trinity Force, they can group, and there will be very little room or for Elements to make anything, honestly, unless they can get a TP in and force a team fight.
Yeah, one of the terms that Crepo likes to use is the comeback mechanic. Elements are lacking one. Jwaow forced a flash after the equalizer sub-optimally used. Nevertheless, it will get a lot of damage on the tower as well as the summoner spell. Mithy and Niels looking for a caterpillar. Not going to find one this time.
As long as Origen as well doesn't get baited into some objective where they get engaged on. Let's see what happens mid though, because Amazing he's the guy engaging on Froggen.
And not going to connect. There's 2 Qs for the QQ on Froggen. A little bit of damage, but no CC. Summoner spells up for both Peke and Froggen. Even on CS, they're both backed, and Amazing's going to at least tag this dragon out. So, Elements not around to respond. Remember, Tabzz backed a moment ago. Not available, and Origen have started this off.
Yeah, simply because Tabzz was running from base, they knew they could start it. Worst case, they can always just back away. They have a lot of members around it. TP is ready, but Soaz already moved down, so you can always just TP back to the top lane from Origen. Maybe bait one out from Jwaow himself. He's coming in now. And there is the disengage instantly.
Not going to work out. Dragon's been interrupted. Elements will be securing the crab as they peel away. But Origen, I think crucially, get Jwow's teleport. So if Origen want to set up a play in the next few minutes, Soaz will have his equalizer and have the option to respond.
And we just talked about this, how the way for Elements to stop Origen from grouping or to stop the siege if Origen is already standing there hitting the tower or poking away is by teleporting in from the flank, teleporting in behind. That's how you can try and start the fights here. Nyph still delaying his talisman a lot if he's even going to build it. Dexter is going to be the guy then jumping in with him at first, while Jwaow has to run down or stand with the team, because again he has no TP for the next few minutes. So Origen simply just baiting it out. Fairly risk-free play, because as you can see, as soon as the teleport was there, they just backed out. Went back to stand on lane, said, okay, you have no TP now.
Dexter looking for the knock-up, not going to find it, but he does get the Chain of Corruption. Peke is landing a couple of auto attacks with that Blighted Quiver. And actually used his Ghost as well, just to put even more distance. back was interrupted. And when we look at the items, Jwaow appears to be going for a little bit more of a damage build. Components of Phage. Mithy, batter, swing and a miss. Not a miss, a dodge, maybe. Tabzz flashed. Not really sure if that would have connected. Better safe than sorry.
A bit of a panic one for him. But yeah, obviously didn't want to get caught. Even on his own turret. Nyph was nearby as well. Tabzz plays it very, very safe. It's what he's been doing, honestly. He's been a very safe AD carry for Elements, and often he just stays in his lane for a long time. Even when he's hitting certain power spikes, he likes to just continue farming. And it has been a bit of the mentality for Elements all split long. The whole team is like, just one more wave, then I'll go back, and then we can group just one more wave. And while it can net you some quite nice farm, it can also end up just hurting you because you're so slow.
Yeah, the problem is that one more wave mentality doesn't help when you're losing almost every time. Tabzz is down 6 CS on average at 10 minutes, and down 14 CS on average at 20 minutes. And if you look down, he's even further behind now at 14.
Tricky for him, the fact that they were against this Thresh as well with his own Alistar, so bit of a disadvantage support-wise in terms of the applying pressure in the lane. And then he lost the fight for the level 2 early on and already got denied about 10 CS from the start. Also ends up dying one, so not been an easy laning phase for Tabzz. Nyph is going in though.
So Nyph is going to get caught by that death sentence, Unbreakable will to break the chains. And we do see the Lantern to get Niels to safety. The rest of Origen are coming and they're looking for a diving party, but Dexter is going to scream. And Void Rush as well. 3v3 if anything were to break out. Teleport for Soaz, nothing for Jwaow. Soaz calling the bluff. Look, he's in the jungle in the top half.
It's all part of the build-up. Soaz doesn't even have to join because he has teleport ready, so Elements are just saying, okay, we're just going to give it up. Because we know if we try and contest it with 4 members, Soaz is going to join and we won't be able to do it. Only reason for them to maybe try and force his own teleport was so Jwaow could take the top tower down. Instead, they decided to back away. Bot lane had been pushed down already. Origen has been setting up this play for a few minutes. And they are just taking it super slow. No reason to take any chances, just wait for your spikes, then you can start making the plays.
I think it's amazing about Origen though, is in the 12 games they've played, they've secured 10 of the first dragons. That is fantastic objective control, and they've done it again. Amazing has now dived in for the dive. Chrono Break out to safety. A little bit awkward. A lot of damage has been placed on that tower. Some really weird engages around this bottom lane over the last couple of minutes.
I don't think Origen had any vision on where Dexter was. So in case he wasn't in the bottom lane there, you had a 3v2 dive being set up against Tabzz with no flash because you used it before. But as soon as they saw Dexter, it's like, okay, I'm playing Ekko anyway, just dash back out to your ulti and you're safe. Once again, we'll have a Lantern as well for Mithy. It's about setting up potential plays and always having a way out. Always having a safety plan or an escape plan for Origen. And it's been the same when they start Dragon. They're like, okay, if you're moving down, we just disengage, we take the next one. This dive here, Dexter's here, back out. And as you can see, Element's not been able to really punish them for some of these plays.
Mithy's going to look to punish Elements. He's got those Moby Boots roamed up top. Niels, Trinity Force completed. Man immune for Peke for a little while. And almost a Haunting guys, as well as level 11 for Soaz. So Origen are effectively enabled now. The Go switch has been flicked on.
Yep.
And it's just a matter of finding the right objective. Origen, again, talking about stats, picked up the first tower in 9 out of their 12 games. We'll see if they can do it again.
And they should be getting this bot lane tower very, very soon. Once Mithy returns down to the bottom lane, there's a double ward being set up top for Elements. One in the bush and then one outside. There where we saw the pink ward from Origen. You can see Amazing also being spotted by the same one. That's what's going to happen if you expect them to pink defensively. You just take it outside the bush around the corner. But Origen, this bot lane tower is super low. You have a spike on your Corki. You can push that one in very safely and just take down the tower on your own. And then you can start grouping and landing this poke. Dexter has to start pulling off some plays. Otherwise, Origen can just keep controlling the pace of the game.
Tremor sense. Dexter knows Amazing is there. Equalizer is up for Soaz. We're going to engage. Jwaow is going to throw down the Gnar, but Amazing Chrono Break dodged it. Equalizer's not Amazing as Dexter and Jwaow are in retreat. Parallel Convergence comes down. That's going to stun Dexter. The burnout is coming down, and Amazing gets the kill. The second one in the game for Origen.
Really well played by Amazing. As soon as he saw Gnar jump in, he pops his ulti. As you said, he dodges it. 2 towers going down because both the lanes have been pushed down over and over and over. Elements suddenly fall really far behind in goal. Playing the top lane, 2 lanes winning on the bottom side of the map. Origen, nice goal lead in the mid game. And it's not going to be a lot easier for Elements the next 10 minutes. Varus is only going to get stronger and stronger at this point here, up until we reach like 4 items on him.
Elements full well knew that was happening. Dexter had the tremor sense, but just the reaction time from Amazing was incredible. Dodging the stun. So Origen, 2,500 gold up. Needlessly large Rod now picked up for Soaz thanks to the assist and the global gold of 2 towers. Why go haunting, guys, when you can just get flat AP? Mithy's looking for a death sentence. Jwaow is getting chunked down. Niels, he feels he's got the damage. Hex Drink is gonna pop. Niels is diving. Easy, easy. 3rd kill, lemon squeezy.
Yeah, standard swap here from Origen after they got the bot lane tower. Mithy is very aggressive from the start, knowing he could chase the kill down with. Niels, of course, there's gonna be another tower in the top lane then for Elements, unless... Oh, sorry, from Origen. Unless Dexter and Froggen can do anything to defend it.
And Deficio, we're going to go back to the lack of wave clear on Element's side if they're in trouble. But Froggen should be able to nom Niels with the help of Dexter. Emo plagues out. Niels will trade his life for the tower. I think fair trade, but maybe not needed.
Tower would have gone down anyway. Clearly just not expecting Froggen to roam up with Dexter here and kill them. But yeah, as we highlighted, you just mentioned, so slow composition from Elements with so few answers to a poke comp. And Origen has been setting up for this from the start. They took the Corki in the first rotation and the Ekko. We see a lot of teams really liking the Ekko jungle in these poke comps because he's so good at, you know, kiting backwards. He has the slows, and then there's always this threat of him jumping back to his shadow and getting into the back line. He used his W to zone as well. So Origen showed it in the start. Origen's and Elements still win for this comp here with so little wave clear.
Elements will secure the first tower of the game. It is up top, thanks to that roam from Froggen. We're still going to be keeping an eye on the itemization from Nyph. He's picked himself up that Forbidden Idol. Still holding on to the Relic Shield. See whether or not he opts to change that. And then a slight change in the build path for Blade of the Rune King. Tabzz gone for the recurve bow, thanks to the percentage damage built into his W, whereas Niels has got the cutlass.
Yeah, you just have to get that talisman. You need that mobility. It's so important for you to start these fights. How on earth is Froggen ever going to get in and hit the backline of Origen if there's no extra mobility or someone to start the fight for him?
I agree, and I like the fact that Dexter's working his way towards the lockets as well. Against all the burst that can come down on the side of Origen. Froggen's going to eat a death sentence and a chain of corruption. It's Chain City from Origen. Going to get burned away through the ignite. Hemoplague simply not enough, and Mithy's looking for more. Voidus comes down. A flash into Piercing Arrow. Peke needs to burn through 250 HP. One more auto is enough, and Peke gets another.
Origen have full control of the bottom side of the map here. They've already been setting up for this dragon. They got the first one. Elements feeling like we have to move in. We have to try and stop them, see if we can get a team fight maybe around an objective. Just simply getting caught out, no vision. You have lost the map. You're at the point where Origen is so strong in the mid game, both as a team, but also with the composition they're running. And they're looking very strong.
This is something that we didn't really see from Origen yesterday. In their loss to the Unicorns of Love, some questionable decisions in the mid to late game. Origen with a very clear game plan. Got themselves 4 towers, got themselves a second dragon. Peke's even going to snipe that before Amazing can smite it. And here's this play again. Look at the chains into chains.
It's simply just Elements have barely any vision down this river here. The ward was placed after it already got caught out. So you just walk in and it's so easy for Varus from a Thresh to just land these skill shots when nobody's obviously dodging them because they don't really know they're coming. Origen then secures the second kill, secures the dragon.
Oh, I love the slow-mo dramatic zoom in.
And Pokemon, they love these dragon stacks here because, like, more damage to minions, better wave clear, movement speed from the third one. That's going to be crucial because, of course, you want to be able to kite back all the time, faster rotating between the lanes. Tower damage from the fourth, like, all of them really benefits a Pokemon really well.
technically minion damage from the fourth.
Is it?
Changed a little while ago.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it's all right. It's all right.
Nobody ever cares about those normally.
I do. You just said it. I care.
Yeah, but because now Pokecoms are being played, so they care. But before that, it was like, team fight, yeah, kills, yeah, digging. Dragon, don't care about Dragon.
Keep digging. I can give you a shovel.
Good old Dragon.
I asked a question about Dragon. We've got a clear answer so far. Origen in a power spike, in a composition spike, and they have Rumble. Origen
wouldn't that fit into the composition spike?
Theoretically, yeah, it would. Whew, so snippy today. Origen could also look towards Baron in a few minutes' time. They're not quite Fnatic, but if they want to pull elements towards them, you're going to have that option and, you know, pretty early Barons on average for Origen as a team.
Yeah. When you're running Pokecoms, though, you don't really have to go towards Baron before all the outer turrets are gone. The tier... Oh, sorry, the...
Inner turrets.
Inner turrets.
There's only 2 remaining.
Yeah. Get those 2 down, and then you get to the point where the base can be a little bit tougher because you don't really want to dive. You want to sit and poke, but then there's not very far back to the base to heal up if you're element, so it's a bit easier for them to defend and maybe potentially set up a flank. That's where Origen can start baiting around this Baron here, get the Baron buff, and then, of course, use that to push down against elements and just be even stronger. But it's also, the problem for Pokecoms is that you don't want to fight around these objectives, because you don't want to be stuck, grouped up, in a position where you can't really poke. No. So yeah, it's kind of funny. They want the Baron, but they don't really want to fight around the Baron.
Luckily, Rumble and Ekko will help them out just a little bit.
A lot.
If elements do decide to commit, Dexter's now been caught out. Death Sentence comes in. Nyph has got the Pulverize down, and that equalizes better. Nyph is being burned through that Unbreakable Will, but he's tanky for days. Death Sentence connects, and that's not going to be enough. We'll get burned down by Soaz. Mithy's looking for more. Death Sentence will be up in a moment or two, and Tabzz is on the wrong side. Dexter's come in for the knock-up, and the Hemoplague's caught. Another Death Sentence connects. Froggen is down. Dexter, Tabzz follow, and Origen find 4. As well as the inner turrets.
And Origen saying, we don't want that Baron right now, we don't want to start baiting right now, we can just keep grouping. There's no wave there from elements, there's no real wave for them to engage onto us, so let's just sit here and poke. Slowly, we just pick out one target. We have this Varus to lock down one, we have, of course, the Thresh. Apparently yesterday I keep talking about Varus ulti being a stun. It is a snare, Trevor. Today you learned. So he's snaring a target, and then they kill him.
I don't know that.
I know you know that. I said it was a stun.
Damn.
Yeah.
Dexter just gets caught out. Despite a good knockup from Nyph, Origen just too much damage. Too focused.
Not even here, all the members. Peke right now is zoning 2 guys up here. Just slowing them. Look at that snare. Missing. Sadly. Doesn't even matter at this point for Origen. Just keep poking in. Mithy's looking. Someone ends up getting the ulti from Froggen, but Element still only stuck 3 guys. Jwaow hasn't even been able to join yet. He's still on the other side of the wall.
And Amazing gets a double stun with the parallel convergence. Really good mastery. What Amazing is doing with Ekko today, Dexter did not do with Ekko yesterday.
Difference as well. Amazing is more focused on kiting back and having targets run towards him, like run into it. Dexter yesterday had to be the guy engaging the fights, and that's obviously where people are running away. So it becomes a little bit harder to land it for himself. But yeah, Origen definitely looking strong, and suddenly only 1 outer turret is left, or inner turret.
Look at all of these Aegises. Dexter's got one, Mithy's got one.
He's gonna go ban off command.
Even a Locket finished for Amazing. And we just see the Talisman of Ascension picked up for Nyph. 27 minutes in, when your team is 8,000 gold down. Might be too late.
Yeah, to be fair, he hasn't really been getting any gold. 1 tower for his team. That's about it. And then you got like 25 CS on the Relic, and that's
just not enough at the moment.
No, it's tough being a support in this case. You know you really need that item, but there's really no way for you to get it faster. And yeah, gonna get ban off command on Mithy. Better pushing. Jwaow is still, I mean, if he's in a one-on-one, we talk about his Black Cleaver, his Hexdrinker, he's gonna beat Soaz, he's gonna be able to take down towers. So it's up to Origen to say, we're not gonna allow you to sit here and just be a split pushing threat. Instead, we're gonna take over the top side, because then we have the Baron control, and we go for this last top turret here for Origen. So they're dancing around it. For now, Elements has done a very good job reading the situation and pre-warded everything. Let's see if they can use it.
The problem is, despite all the strength Jwaow has, with his CS advantage, with the damage, it's just not equal. Tabzz still hasn't completed that Blade of the Ruined King. 3 deaths to his name versus Niels. Blade of the Ruined King, BF Sword, Sork Shoot, and a Triforce. It is just such a disparity in damage between these two carries. But now, I guess, the pressure is on. Origen, 29 minutes with a poke comp. Poke comps have extended our average game length this week. It was 44 minutes yesterday. And we might be a little while away from closing this one out, if all things stay statistically the same.
Even though these poke comps often spike in the mid game, closing out the game is just so much harder. Again, you don't have this massive dive. You can just roll over people if you have that goal lead. No, you need to keep landing that poke. You need to set it up properly. And even if you're 10,000 gold ahead and when you have like Varus Corki, you still have to respect the fact that the enemy team can get to your carries and kill them very easily. Again, Froggen at this point, yeah, 2.5 items completed. If he gets to sit one-on-one with Pekka, he will kill him. So you always have to like properly set up your pushes here. You have to ward your flanks. You have to start setting up Baron at this point because there's no other towers you can really go for. And that's also, again, a slow process because you don't want to risk being caught in the middle of this Baron pit and then forced into a team fight where you didn't land any poke before.
And it's something that I think we undersell Froggen a little bit, I think, because of the team struggles. But Froggen traditionally has done well this split. He's farmed effectively. He's put a lot of damage down. He is roaming. But it's just not feeling like it's an impact at the moment. And, you know, the stand-up performance in my mind, when you think of Elements versus Roccat, where Froggen was on Vladimir, he was allowed 30 minutes to go uncontested, and then he basically just won the game. It's going to be so much more difficult as we hit 30 minutes. And Elements are down in every single stat in this game.
I would just like to see Elements go back to easy engage. Prepper's gonna hate me for saying this. The likes of Maokai. It's super simple in terms of how do you start the fight. Just as an example, of course. We might also have to see Froggen change up the champions he's playing. Maybe he shouldn't be sitting on these scaling teamfight mages because the rest of his team and like him together, obviously like as a team together, they're not very good at setting up these fights properly. Maybe he needs to play Varus, Jace, these poke champions instead, where it's not about finding the right engages. Dexter, he's going in on amazing though.
So 4 members are caught. Chrono Breakout, Lantern to safety. Soaz is teleported in and Dexter's going to get roasted alive. Now Tabzz is the focus. He's peeling away. Nyph is in the river with Unbreakable Will and Froggen is simply not in the fight. Peke burns through him. Tabzz now may get caught by the parallel convergence. We've actually changed targets up top. Niels has recalled his, it seems like
dramatic.
Tabzz and Soaz are picking up kills elsewhere. Mithy, I think, got Soaz out once again. And what looked like amazing getting caught results in 3 Elements dead.
Just buying so much time, building full tank, can always jump back to his ult and get a bit of HP. And you don't really want to invest every single cooldown into killing this Ekko jungle, so enough time for Origen to move in. They're going for Jwaow. All planned.
Little miss from Mithy. He went for the flash play. Jwaow said not today. Origen, however, still in complete control.
You still see it. Origen don't want to start the Baron, they just want to keep baiting around it. We get a fight then, and the whole thing resets. Origen wins the fight, but it buys more time for Elements. Obviously, it makes the game go a bit long. Let's see it again. So they're jumping on Amazing in. You don't want to invest everything into this tank Ekko. So Amazing can buy enough time. You can also jump back to his ulti, lands a stun on Dexter. TP comes in, nice lantern, and now Origen saying, we are enough members, we can turn it around. Great counter engage, started by the hook, and of course Soaz joining. And now Dexter, again, taking a lot of damage.
Niels almost able to find the kill. Not super tanky yet for Dexter. Cinderhulk, Locket, and Tabby. It's really all he's got to play with. And as we said, Niels well on his way to the Infinity Edge. Niels' Vayne yesterday, not particularly impressive, looking a lot more comfortable on Corki. Jwaow, I think he's going down. Gonna get a 3-man Gnar, but there's no one from Elements to back him up. And Jwaow teleported in just to get taken out.
Yeah, Elements saw Origen start the Baron. Felt like they had to react instantly. Origen just quickly turned around and picks up another kill for themselves. Still no Baron, still alive. We haven't seen a push quite a while. It's just been dancing around it. Also 3 dragons for Origen, so they can also just go back in a minute and a half and get that one. Now there is a flank being set up, but Elements only have 4 members. And Froggen and Nyph getting jumped.
This is not good. Hemo play comes out. Froggen's gonna sanguine pool, but he was rooted for a few seconds. Kill for Mithy. kill for Peke. And with a 5v2, Origen heal backwards for Baron. It's just going from bad to worse for Elements.
And Origen just always have wards on the flank, so they see everything. I also realized Elements have been putting wards outside the Baron pit, just around the corner where the pink ward inside couldn't see it. Double pink started, 3 members alive from Elements side, but they're all being zoned away. The scary Mithy is not Peke here, it's Mithy doing the work.
2-0
smacking that ward as well.
Mithy's got massive impact in this game. Empowered recalls. Origen.
And now they got the Baron. And now the poke comp is going to be like, we are super strong.
Now, only now.
Oh, no, okay, okay. We are even stronger than before. And now we have this Baron. We buff up these minions here. We have no TP, sadly, for Soaz, but they can still take 2 lanes at least next to each other. And Elements should not have a chance of clearing. And also, the Banner of Command has been completed. Banner of Command. And I believe you buy an Elixir of Iron. I was reading this on Reddit. Something like if you buff up that cannon minion, it only needs like a few seconds to almost destroy a tower. Don't remember the exact math on it, but
Dexter's in
trust me.
So much trouble. Equalizer comes out. Chain of Corruption spreads, and they snipe Tabzz down. Take a look at Nyph in the middle of the team. He's going to be the next to fall. Death Sentence connects once more from Mithy. They can aimbot this game. Double kill for Niels. Soaz continues to use that Flame Spitter, and Dexter forced to run away. Queen of the Xur side, tail between
the cannon minion.
Boom. And Origen break open the base, crack down the inhibitor, and set their sights on the Nexus. 15 seconds before Tabzz is up. With that Baron buffed Siege minion.
Clearly the MVP.
Baron of Command. Origen with a dominant victory over Elements.
And this game here, if you look at team composition, the way Origen played it, that's the team we know. You know, it's mid-game focused, great setup from the start. They saw, well, they honestly showed the poke combo in the pick and ban phase already from the first rotation, and yet Elements didn't seem to have an answer to it. And Origen just were in full control. We were talking about how they just had to avoid doing something bad in the first 15 minutes, and they could start grouping, take down these towers here. Slowly, everything just fell apart for Elements, and they fell too far behind.
If memory serves, it was at 17 minutes that Origen got the kill top lane. They got the mid tower and the bottom tower.
Yeah, exactly.
And then were just ruthless. Like we said, the poke comps have an average game win time of around 44 minutes, or rather, because of poke, we've had average game times around 44 minutes. That was closed out in 36. Origen, relentless. They found towers, they found the kills, and Elements just no wave play, no comeback mechanic.
Yeah, simply no way of stopping the poke, except if you could get like a fantastic TP flank when Jwaow was just about to hit Mega Gnar, but he's playing Gnar. It's so hard to coordinate that properly. There was no easy way for them to engage, other than maybe Nyph flashing in. But that becomes very predictable as well when you can see him. Origen had great wards on the flanks all the time, and it just made it nearly impossible for Elements. And all Origen were waiting for was just, okay, either we go for 5 dragons, or we just need that Baron secured, so we buff up these minions here, and then we know we can go for the push. Notice how they never grouped for the inhibitor turrets before they had Baron.
Yeah.
Just walk down once, so like, okay, we don't even need to do this, we can just force a fight, go back to Baron. 10 minutes, dance around it, get a few kills here and there, secure the Baron, and then you close out the game. That's what you do with these poke comps here, and that's why you have to play so safe, because you don't want to risk being engaged on, because you know these carries are going to die, like Varus, Corki, dead instantly if they do get caught.
If they get caught, but they never got caught.
Exactly.
It was always on Origen's terms, and I think Mithy on that Thresh, it was the second rotation pickup. Corki and Ekko was #1 and #2 for Origen. Played flawlessly, but I really think the decision-making and the shot calling was why Origen won this game. It also helped that Mithy hit so many crucial death sentences. Every time they were setting up for an objective, Mithy found someone.
Yeah, again, this is the playstyle Origen likes to use. Focus on the mid game. That's where you're strong. Don't have to go full late game. Don't focus on having to snowball completely from the early game. Like we saw yesterday when they ran this 1-3-1 setup that didn't work for them. Also just, I mean, we talked about Froggen a few times. This Vladimir pick, it looks great if he gets in there and deals all this AoE damage. But it's the same as yesterday. He never got to do it. He never got to be the carry. He was never enabled. And it's just, Elements have to go back and figure out, okay, is Froggen playing the right champions, like for us as a team, so we can we use him this way? Or do we need to change up something because we cannot find reliable engages, so we need to play something different?
I also want to step back and look at Elements from Spring and Alliance from Summer last year. One of the things that stood out to me in terms of how those two versions functioned was they had a very clear checklist: magic damage, physical damage, wave clear, tankiness, engage. And whenever we spoke to them in interviews, the pick and ban questions always get answered with that checklist. I feel like that checklist is very wonky in Summer because there's always some glaring weaknesses. At the beginning of the split, it was hyper late game that never got there. Now it's lack of wave clear or lack of initiation. There's always a giant checkbox that there's simply no answer for.
True.
And you can make up for those with itemization, but a 27-minute Talisman of Ascension in a game where you're behind is not enough.
Yeah, and you've fallen behind because you didn't have any answer in the mid game. So they definitely need to go back and look at how they build these comps, because a single pick, it might look awesome for that one player, but it needs to fit, of course, in the entire team composition, and that's where it goes wrong for Elements at the moment.
So unfortunate for Elements down at the bottom of the table, but congratulations to Origen, clearly holding on to second for the time being. We're going to head over to the analyst desk where a couple of those